Hey, it's me, Uncle Ricky. Look, we got to talk about, I hope I pronounced this correctly, Vivek Ramaswamy, the uh, Indian American, not Asian Indian American, Republican hopeful for the nomination to be the Republican presidential candidate in 2024. Now, it's a topsy turvy world because uh, Vivek is actually, depending on what polls you want to talk about or listen to, he's either two or three in the Republican primary race. Trump is out in front by, even though he's, four-time indicted and probably soon to be convicted, maybe allegedly, of some horrible crimes against the country, all for the purpose of retaining his power and basically ripping off the country for tons of money. But that's what Trump does. I mean, he did it as a civilian. Why the hell shouldn't he do it as a president? But back to Vivek. Vivek came into the race much like Donald Trump. In fact, he is so close to Donald Trump, it's like maybe a younger brown-skinned version of Trump, the way that Vivek handles himself. Because Vivek is all about he's not about substance. He's about the show. Uh, he his claim to fame is that he walks into a room with the rich man's attitude. You know, because I am who I am, and because I've done a few things, I'm smarter than anybody else in the room, and I have the answer to everything. Even if I don't, but I'm going to talk loud enough and long enough to where everybody else just gives the fuck up and lets me do what I want to do. And that's Donald Trump's claim to fame. If you think about it, that's all Trump has done his entire life, whether it's business, whether it's politics, whether it's being president, or whether it's just being a grifting asshole. But Vivek has done the same thing. Vivek has money. He he made his money in he's a conglomeration of confusion because he's one of these new tech uh, scientific economic type guys. He was a hedge fund manager. He was a Glenn Youngkin, and he made a ton of money, and he got rich, and he talks about this like because it fits the Republican pull yourself up by the bootstraps image, but just like that image is warped and twisted, because it displays, people coming from nothing and graduating into something, multimillionaires, billionaires. Vivek uses the same imagery because his parents were immigrants from India, but Vivek was not. I mean, they didn't come across as, they weren't billionaires, they weren't on the Forbes 500 list or anything like that, but they were not the Statue of Liberty type poster child immigrants. They came over, they had good educations, they got good jobs, and they made good money. Vivek never had to deal with the plight of most immigrants, especially if you are an immigrant of color, and you don't come from means. Your family actually scraped, scrimped, and saved, and you know, basically took every dime they had, every penny they had to get here to America and try to make a living, try to make it better for themselves and their children. Vivek didn't come from that background. Yes, he was an immigrant. Yes, his parents came from India. And yes, his parents had to establish themselves, establish the Ramaswamy family in this country. But it's not the same struggle. It's not like somebody coming over from Uzbekistan or immigrating from, an African country or immigrating from a poor European country. it just wasn't the same. Now, once you get past that, once you get past the fact that this guy kind of like established himself as a alpha male moron from day one, you can read, you can check out. They have a video of him of it being valedictorian from his private school graduation, Mr. Immigrant. But anyway, Vivek tries to act like, he is the epitome of Americana. He is the 21st century American alpha male, and that he has the right idea about everything, and that if you elect him president, if you make him president, he's going to go in and change everything almost overnight, kind of like with Trump, his role model, when Trump's big thing after MAGA was promises made, promises kept. Even though half the promises he made are still, like one of the big promises he made is still rusting in the dirt on the border between the United States and Mexico. In fact, Biden started selling off some of the unused fencing so that we could get back some of the money that we put out for the Trump fiasco. But Ramaswamy, his whole thing is like when he makes points, he gathers fame and celebrity status by basically going out and out talking anybody that interviews him and avoiding any questions that remotely resemble anything near being serious where he would have to commit to something. And Ramaswamy is another one of these new breed people that believe that it's all about what I say. Even if you got me cold dead ass on tape, if you got me cold dead ass on video, saying something, doing something a week ago, if it doesn't fit into what I need, I'm going to lie and tell you it didn't happen, and damn it, you better believe it, because I am Vivek Ramaswamy. This is the type of politics, this is the type of politicians that unfortunately are becoming predominant in this country. Even if you see through Vivek, or even if you see through a Trump, Trump got by, Trump got in, and look where we are now. Look at what the damage that Trump has done. It's not the country damaging himself. Half the people that are going after Trump are people that Trump put in power, put in their positions, put in their, but because they take the oath that they took when they got appointed, when they got elected, when they got put in these positions to protect the Constitution and the country above all else, including crybaby wannabe supposedly rich guys that want to take over the world. It's not working out. It's just not working out for Trump. He's falling. It's not his descent isn't as fast as a lot of us would like, and we don't know where it's going to end up. We just know that and hope that it's going to be bad for Trump, and we already have accepted the fact that it's already bad for the country. The question is, how much worse will it get before we bring this thing to an end? And actually putting Trump on trial, convicting him, and sending him to jail, it's not going to end Trumpism, because you have people like Ramaswamy. Now, there's different schools of thought on Ramaswamy, Vivek, whether he's serious about what he's doing or whether he's just trying to garner swag, knowing that he is going to lose. He is in third place, but he only has he just started getting in double digits as far as supporters in the poll, and Trump is still way out. He has a plurality of the Republican support, irregardless of what Trump has done, hasn't done, or will do. Vivek, a lot of people consider his campaign to be clownish, much in the same venue as Andrew Yang, give everybody $1,000 a month until the country turns itself around. That was Yang's biggest proposal. But Ramaswamy, I mean, he talks about when he gets in, what he will do, and he doesn't seriously ask himself the question, or he doesn't seriously allow himself room for what if everybody else doesn't buy your bullshit and resist. He's Ramaswamy. He's Vevek Ramaswamy. Whatever he says will go. It's like, just like Trump, he talks that shit like the president is the ultimate ruler. There's no restrictions on what the president can and cannot do. The president, he acts like the president's word is the last authority. And we can see from Trump and, other semi-dictatorial administrations, especially when you talk about Republican administrations, the Bushes, Reagan, Nixon, we see that Ramaswamy is either going to, it cannot be serious. He cannot be, no matter what he says, no matter what comes out of his mouth, he cannot be serious about winning the Republican nomination for several different reasons. One, just like DeSantis already proved, you cannot out-Trump Trump. You can try to be meaner than Trump. You can try to be a bigger bastard than Trump. You may even succeed. But if you don't have the Trump personality, you can't out-Trump Trump. Vivek, and I hate to say it in this year 2023, but buddy, you got to understand something. I mean, when you come with the Donald Trump attitude wrapped in the package that you're wrapped in, trying to deal with the base, not the Republican Party. The Republican Party may love you legitimately because you fit into their mold. You're rich. You say a bunch of shit that doesn't mean anything. And people, can kind of, I would be ashamed to say it, but they can kind of identify with you. I can't identify with them on several different levels, but that's the Republican thing. But when you have to get the base involved, when you have to get the red meat eaters, when you have to get the, unlicensed army on your side, the thing that most Republicans either, they clamor after the base, but they also fear the base. They know that they can't make it without the base, but they know that once they put the base in their tent, the base may turn around and eat them. Ramaswamy has this problem because he is an immigrant, because he is not white. And the far right extremists, even the religion is because he in a lot of his speeches, he talks about patriotism and God, but Ramaswamy is a devout, or at least he says he is, because Trump claimed that he was a devout Christian. But Ramaswamy claims that he is a devout Hindu. He's from India has a caste system where people get allotted positions in life, as far as who does what, who answers to who. And Ramaswamy, his family comes from the Brahmin caste, which is the top. They are the brains. They are the leaders. They're the top caste in the Hindu culture. But that doesn't count for shit when you're talking about a Trump supporter in backwoods Louisiana, or deep in the heart of Texas, or where everything is God, guns, and Bible. And even though they won't say it out loud, it's white people, God, guns, and whatever. Ramaswamy does not fit into their mold, so no matter how much he acts like Trump, he's not going to secure that part of the Republican Party. But maybe it's all comes to naught, because the more I watch Ramaswamy, the more I'm convinced that he's not a serious candidate. He is just doing it for the swag. He's doing it for the popularity points. He's doing it for perhaps even the grift. He talks about he's against diversity, equity, and inclusion, like many of the Republican uh, presidential wannabes, especially those that made their way into governorships, like Youngkin. That the need for diversity, equity, and inclusion is no longer the country's past it. We don't need it anymore to make things right. Things are already right because I say so. And um, part of Ramaswamy's success, yes, Vivek, success, regardless of how much of an entrepreneurial spirit he is, and regardless of how self-assured he is, regardless of how much energy he devotes into him putting himself on top, uh, he benefited from diversity, equity, and inclusion. He got a scholarship, a large financial blessing because he was an immigrant. Scholarships exactly set up for immigrants. And one thing about DEI, when the Supreme Court said that that affirmative action wasn't necessary anymore, a lot of these scholarships went away. And so here we are. Here's a man who, regardless of what you think about him, you can't deny that he is a success on some level, somewhere, somehow, just because of his financial success, just because of, uh, you know, well, basically because of his financial success, because that's the only thing that matters in his world, and the type of people that he's trying to attract is the only thing that really matters in their world. But Vivek is so full of bullshit, so full of, just like his idol, Donald John, so full of self importance. And because he was a hedge fund dude, and it seems that his wealth came out of hedge fund management when the things that he managed, Vivek walked away with millions of dollars, multi-millions of dollars, and the things that he managed basically either got sold out or ceased to exist. So perhaps maybe that might lead someone to think that there may be a little bit of irregular illegality connected with Vivek. But I'll leave that up to you. See, you people are intelligent. You can do your own research, look it up for yourself. But back to Vivek. He's a one-trick pony, just like his idol, Donald John. I'm gonna loud talk everybody. I'm gonna talk over everybody. I'm not gonna give anybody a chance to get in the words edgewise because I'm Vivek, and I will continue to do this until I am forced to actually do something. And then when I do it, I'm going to build it as the greatest thing that ever happened to mankind because I am Vivek Ramaswamy. And that's his whole platform. That is his whole platform. He wants to cater to the conservative right, but he wants to use the trappings and the wrappings of the package that he comes in to perhaps entice young people. Vivek never voted in an election until he was 32 years old. And now he wants to be president. He wants to go from going to the voting booth once in his life to running the country, what, 6, 7, 8 years later? That's ego. That is ego. He tries to pretend his inexperience with politics, his inexperience with diplomacy doesn't matter because he was a hedge fund manager and he came out with millions of dollars. But see, the thing when you become a president of a country, it's not only about you. You can be whatever. You can be the most powerful person in the world, but if the country that you are the president of is struggling and in fact going backwards and dying because you can't deliver what you promised, or you're not the person that you thought you were, the only thing that you accomplished was being an extremely good con man, and the only thing that the country proved was that the average voter has no freaking idea how powerful their vote is or what to do with their vote, then what have you accomplished? America you can't deny it anymore. We are in a decline. I mean, it's not that we were ever what we said we were, but we are less than that now. I know that's a lot of words in a few seconds, but there's too many people in this country from too many different backgrounds with too much talent, with too much integrity, with too much desire to be something for this country to be faltering like it is. And it's all due to politics. It's all due to platforms and agendas. All for me and mine, and just enough for you so that you can live and think that you're human beings and go to work so that my bank account can grow. That's what America is boiling down to. And people like Vivek Ramaswamy, they make no bones about it. That's the way they want it to be. That's how they think it should be. And they're doing everything they can to make it that way. Well, that's it for me for now, today. Uh, you can check out Vivek if you want to. I'm not even gonna give you a spoiler alert. It's going to be a lot of hot air, and if you watch 2 or 3 of his videos, you're probably going to find that he changes what he wants to say and how he says it to match the crowd that he's in. And we don't need that. We've had too much of that on both sides of the aisle. We've had too much of that. For this country to get stable, for this country to get back on its footing and not just enjoy the title of being the greatest country in the world. I mean, we're not the only ones that say it. Everybody else says it, but a lot of people just say it because they are so much more fucked up than we are. America can be beautiful. America can be great. But as long as we kowtow to people like Trump, as long as we let people like Vivek Ramaswamy and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert and Matt Gaetz have relevance in our country, or in the world for that matter, we'll always continue to struggle. And we'll always fall short of being America the beautiful. Well, that's it for me, Uncle Ricky. I'm going to say, as always, and I seriously mean this, no matter who you are, where you are, and what you are, peace out and God bless from Uncle Ricky at Uncle Ricky's house.